What is happening in the financial markets? It's been a crazy 24 hours. I know I dropped a couple videos yesterday talking about how the financial system was so bad that we are going to have an epic market crash. And I don't disagree with what I said, but of course, what happened on Wall Street was they said things are so bad, the Federal Reserve is going to step in and start cutting interest rates. They're going to start printing money like nobody's business again. And so, of course, all the stocks went through the roof. Bad news. The worst of news ever is actually great for stocks once again. Yes, we live in upside-down, bizarro world. If you've been watching the price of silver, it has skyrocketed. Yesterday, up 8% at times. Now, I warned you. How many times did I warn you? I said, silver raid, October 1st, Wall Street Silver is going to go out there and buy a bazillion silver. There's not enough silver to go around, and they're buying up a whole bunch of silver. There's not enough silver. We're going to go into silver squeeze. We're going to have a silver shortage. I said it. I said, buy silver, buy silver. And there you go. We see it taking off like a rocket. And there is a lot of potential unless the big banks step in and start shorting it like crazy. It's going to just keep going up. Now, historically, they step in and start shorting it like nobody's business, especially in the wee hours of the morning here in the United States. We may see that very thing happen. But we see hundreds of thousands, if not millions of ounces taken off the market, physical silver taken into people's custody by instigated by Wall Street Silver, as well as, the silver bugs that have been, grabbing silver for many years. Of course, they're not the first to do it. People have been doing it for a long time. But the simple fact is that what Wall Street Bets did AMC to GameStop by saying all these concentrated shorts on these stocks are just insane. If you just go in there and just buy up all the shares, they can't cover their shorts. They can't. They've already sold stuff that they don't actually have. They're going to have to buy back at a much higher price. And if no one's willing to sell to them, that price could be just really dramatically higher. And that's where we are with silver. When they have sold short millions and millions and in some cases billions of ounces of silver that they don't actually have. And everyone's coming in and just grabbing up all the physical silver and just saying, what do you have left in the vault? You're borrowing against an empty vault, really. It's all one big shell game. It's all just a Ponzi scheme. And it takes a bunch of people standing up and saying the emperor has no clothes. This is going in the food market, right? You look at the food shortages. You look at the bad harvests that are happening. And the food's not going into the silos. The food's not going into production. And people are like, well, there'll never be a food shortage. It's like, what? How? Who's going to not eat? Where's all this food shortage going to impact? You can't have a food shortage, but everyone still eats. That's not how it works. Basic logic tells us differently. The stock market just keeps going up and up and up because the future is perfect and there will always be more money printing. Eventually it comes crashing down. So yes, it gets popped up again, but the higher they go, the harder it will fall. Because the simple fact is that American companies, European companies, are having a hard time buying parts, materials, energy. They can't get the resources they need. They can't get labor. They can't get the resources they need to make the products. And when they make the products, they can't sell the products because nobody wants to buy them, because nobody can afford these ridiculous prices. Even though prices have gone up 30-some% in the last year, most people's wages have not gone up 30+%. And that means one very simple thing. People are going to have to buy less stuff, which means a lot of companies are going to stop getting money. So when you start looking at companies who are making 20, 30 plus times earnings is their stock price, that stops making a whole lot of sense, especially as their earnings start plummeting and they start looking at 50 to 100 plus times earnings. Eventually, those stock prices need to come down because investors can only remain insane for so long. At some point, somebody punches in the calculator and says, gee, it's going to take 100 years of this company's being in business for me even to get my money back. I don't want to wait 100 years for my money to come back. There's probably a better place to invest it, like, say, silver, which is dramatically undervalued. Companies that mine silver and gold. Gee, that makes sense. What about other industrial metals that have been manipulated down by bankers? At some point, you got to choose, do you want to keep taking the Kool-Aid, drinking the Kool-Aid that the bankers are giving you? Or maybe, do you want to leave the compound and not die like everybody else? That's just, I have a strong preference of not dying by drinking the Kool-Aid. And I know a lot of you guys too. You listen to me, you listen to a lot of these other folks who speak truth, who are saying what's going on in the markets is crazy. Now, can it get crazier? Tomorrow it could be even crazier. Everyone said that the Federal Reserve emergency meeting was going to hike interest rates. Now, I am shooting this before they may come out with an announcement. As of yet, they haven't come out with an announcement. But I think that things are kind of pointing to the possibility of them doing a rate cut. So I'm dropping this in the morning, but by then we may know of a rate cut. So, or maybe just no rate cut. If we don't get a rate cut, oh, you better believe stock is going to go through the toilet, down to the first floor, through the basement, all the way into the ground until you get to China. That's how far the stocks are going to drop if they do not get their rate cut, okay? Because then suddenly the bad news is just bad news. Right now it's good news because that means the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates, and everyone's just giddy about that. Not only is the rates going to come down, but then it means that rates aren't going to go up in the near future either, and that just makes everybody happy because free, easy money is just makes stocks go up because you borrow money for free or close to free, and then you gamble with it in the lottery called the stock market. And this is what the banks have been doing. I mean, how could they possibly implode when they're doing stupidity like that? Because stocks only go up, apparently. So that's what's been going on here. But the big news out there is that the massive silver raid by Wall Street Silver and allied people and such like that, you will not find my name anywhere on there because who's to say what happens in my house, right? But you know that I'm a big supporter of that, and you've seen me show a couple shinies on the screen. But I'll let you use your imagination on what I may have or what's going on. But all that to say, it's a Ponzi scheme. And physical money, which is silver and gold, physical money has value. And it has been lied about and slandered for decades and decades and decades because they don't want you to realize that paper that you have in your wallet, the paper numbers on the screen in your bank account are lies. They're just lies. That's what they are. They only have value because other people say they have value. And we're moving into a world where people are going to say they don't have value. You say, well, I can trade this dollar bill for a can of spaghetti sauce or a jar of spaghetti sauce. What happens when you come back to the store the next day and they say, you know what? We don't really think that dollar's worth what you think it is. We'll give you a jar of spaghetti sauce for a $20 bill. That's the world we're moving into. That's the world that the Weimar Republic moved into. That's the world that Venezuela moved into, Zimbabwe. That's the world that European Union and the UK are moving into very rapidly, and the United States will soon follow suit. The crazy eventually has a reckoning. And we are going to find that reckoning to be very, very uncomfortable. You've been taught all your life probably to save money. And that's the worst thing you can possibly do going into this new future. You need to save stuff. You need to save something tangible and of value. That's what's going on with the markets today. And it will have dramatic effects on how you heat your home. Because as that spaghetti sauce goes up to 20 bucks a jar, what do you think your energy bill is going to go up to? What do you think your gas bill is going to go up to? What do you think all these other bills are going to go up to? You need to have a plan for how to handle this. You need to know how to provide value to other people, whether employers or whether to an alternative market where you can receive payment that is linked to the value that you are providing. If you just have a desk job with some faceless corporation, they're probably not going to raise your wages as fast as inflation's going to go. If you work for a small business or work for some kind of company where you are providing tangible benefit to people, you can charge rates. And that's going to be to your benefit. Make smart moves about where your employment is, where your investments are. And, moving out of paper into something smart like physical assets, food. Get your chick coins, your canned chicken or can your own chicken. Better, much better to can your own chicken, yes. If you don't have the time, canned chicken will do. It's not quite as good, but, you do what you got to do, right? Get your Spam, stock that food. And when you have enough food, which is a lot of food, right? Then start looking at making investments in things like silver and gold, that kind of stuff. Silver is still dramatically undervalued. So don't be afraid of still going out and purchasing it, even at these prices. You can wait and see if the banks will come in and slam it down. But if they don't slam it down, you better be careful, because that's just going to keep skyrocketing upwards. And it's going to take one avenue of saving yourself off the table. All right, folks, hopefully this video was helpful and useful. If it was, you might want to check out this other video from me right here. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Steve Poplar out.